I just got in from shoveling because it is what is affectionately called Snowmageddon here in Indiana right now. Those of you in Ohio and Michigan, I think you probably see the exact same thing. So I'm here at my parents' house. I'm wintering with them for a couple of days and just helped Dad clear the sidewalks. We're going to talk, though, about some rumors that are going on about Cedar Point, especially regarding SeaWorld. So stick around, grab a drink, get comfy, and let's go. All right, so the news article that I have here is by the Akron Beacon Journal, and it is headlined SeaWorld Entertainment Inc. offers to buy Cedar Fair for $3.4 billion. SeaWorld has put out a bid to buy all Cedar Fair properties. I think this is kind of like in a bid for SeaWorld to come back from their Blackfish incident, where there was like a big documentary about SeaWorld that was characterizing them very poorly and was saying that people shouldn't support them. So a lot of people didn't. And I still have snow in my beard. Anyway, though, over the last couple of years, they've been really focusing a lot more on their ride experiences and a little bit less on the animal experience or side of their properties.
Which I think makes this entire possibility make a lot more sense.
And now they're looking to possibly expand even further in their quest to kind of become one of the biggest conglomerates, even though they're headquartered down in Orlando. Now, I'm not sure if this is really going to happen. Basically, whenever I've read about this particular thing, there's been a lot of talk of unnamed people have come forward and said this. They don't want to be disclosed because, so it seems very hush-hush. It's either something that's very, very behind the scenes or it's something that's just being acknowledged. I don't think it will go through unless there's some huge benefit for corporate shareholders.
Dennis Spiegel, founder of International Theme Park Services in Cincinnati, said SeaWorld's offer is likely too low. It doesn't appear to me that this offer is even in the ballpark at this time, Spiegel said. This is a major chess game that's underway. It could end with a big deal being done, or it could evaporate like the Six Flags overture went. In doing a moderate amount of research on this topic, I discovered that Six Flags put in a bid to buy Cedar Fair a couple of years ago at $4 billion. Even at that point, Cedar Fair came back and said that the bid was too low, not least because it did not compensate Cedar Fair shareholders for giving up on the company's tax advantageous publicly traded partnership.
I will say I do think it's kind of funny because it kind of would take things full circle. I remember going to visit SeaWorld Geauga Lake, and Geauga Lake has since been closed.
It was bought by Cedar Fair Properties, actually, and then Cedar Fair sold the properties for Geauga Lake. So all those SeaWorld properties were actually owned by Cedar Fair at one point in recent memory.
So if it ended up being owned by SeaWorld, it, would be kind of a full circle moment. Also, even Cedar Point's acknowledgement of it was just that. It was just a straight acknowledgement of, yes, there has been a bid.
But let's just talk anyway about why a SeaWorld acquisition of Cedar Fair really wouldn't make any difference and wouldn't matter at all.
So Cedar Point has been on a change. It's changed every year since I was a kid, and it's continuing to change constantly. Right now, I'm actually going to make another video about this later, but it seems as though they are working on becoming a more family-friendly amusement park, but they're also looking to expand their thrills to continue to hold the roller coaster capital of the world title. And I think that is motivating what's happening here. Cedar Point has become a more of a family destination, and definitely more of just a destination in general. You could come to Cedar Point and spend just on Cedar Point property an entire week and continue to have something to do. And in that way, Cedar Point's really becoming something different than we've seen, something different than it was even when I was a kid. That being said, Cedar Fair is not as much of that destination kind of a feel.
The Cedar Fair conglomeration has turned the whole Cedar Fair idea and its many parks into a massive corporation that is looking very, very valuable to corporate buyouts. I'm not really sure if that's a good thing or not, but it does speak very highly of Cedar Point and its power in the amusement park industry.
Either way, though, Cedar Point is continuing to evolve and to change in order to stay competitive in a modern market. I don't see Cedar Point going anywhere, no matter what happens in this ordeal. And if the SeaWorld deal does go through, or if this is something, maybe just a first step, and it happens years down the line, I don't believe that that means Cedar Point is going to change in any meaningful way. They've become as big as they are because of incremental changes that Cedar Point has made in its marketing strategy and its ride strategy and development strategy just throughout the years. I don't believe that there's any meaningful change that can happen where just all of a sudden Cedar Point is going to cease to be the exciting destination that it has been for the last decade or even more. A year ago, Cedar Fair had additional rumors that it was going to be moving its headquarters. And that really has not happened. I believe it does actually have a second place of headquarters, but even their CEOs have come forward and saying that Sandusky is their priority. In the same way, I think this is a great way for additional, exposure and excitement about the company, and staying hush about it for Cedar Fair is a pretty good way to drum up some excitement. And you should be excited about the idea. Like, you should get talking about Cedar Point because we like it when people talk about Cedar Point on this channel. But I don't think that this is something one way or another that's going to change the experience that we have at Cedar Point. We have an exciting destination experience at Cedar Point. And even if SeaWorld does want to buy Cedar Fair properties, I mean, that just says some awesome things about Cedar Fair in general and the job that they've been doing at creating an exciting experience for people to come to. Like I said, the other experiences are maybe a little bit different than Cedar Point, are maybe less immersive than Cedar Point, but they are also still very, very good and exciting experiences that I'm excited to go see and experience myself. How many times can I say experience? I can't wait to go visit Michigan Adventure and Kings Island for the first time in the main season this coming year. This is ultimately a good thing. It's not going to change anything. You shouldn't be scared. But to have other companies interested in Cedar Fair, I think is a very good thing. I think it's going to show that Cedar Fair is a major player on the scene, which we already know. But I think it's an exciting thing for Cedar Fair. I mean, buy your tickets, get ready to go. So anyway, those are my thoughts on that. Tell me down below, what are your thoughts on Cedar Fair's acquisition by SeaWorld? Tell me what you think. If it were to happen, is it something that you think would meaningfully change the way that Cedar Point feels? Or do you think it's something that would just be a name change and that's all? Let me know down in the comments. You guys have a great night, and I will talk to you later. Let's go!